Okay, everyone, we're going to practice today something called grid drawing. Grid drawing is taking an image, no matter what image it is, and breaking it up into little tiny boxes of shapes and colors. The reason why we practice grid drawing is because it makes this complicated image a little more simple to copy when I'm looking at single boxes of shapes and color. So one single box of a color is easier to copy than trying to copy the whole image all at once. So you're going to start with this worksheet right here. It's front and back. Pick which either image you like the best. Then you have a clear grid. A grid is just equal amount of boxes going left to right, up and down. So whatever image you pick, you're going to slip this inside of the grid, making sure the image is facing the spot that has the letters and numbers on it. Make sure it's nice and snug all the way to the bottom. You also have a blank grid. This is where we're going to copy our drawing to. So I'm trying to copy this image onto my blank grid as closely and precisely as I can. So I'm going to start with my letters and numbers. On the top row, there are some letters, and on the side, there are some numbers. So this very first box here is going to be 1A. So I'm going to put a 1 and an A in that very first box. Then I'll continue with B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. Then going down this way, I'll start with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 boxes across and 11 boxes down. So grid drawing, how we start is kind of like a printer. If I was a printer, I would start with this very first row and print everything that I see in color, and then start with the next row. Then continue with the next row, then continue with the next row until I've copied the entire image. So the very first box of color that I see in this first row is this box right here. This is 1C. It's in the row that has the 1 and the box that has the C, so it's 1C. So I'll find this on my grid, 1C. This is the correct box. So I'm looking at the box of color, and I really want to try and copy the shape that I see almost exactly as I can. So look at where the image, the shape starts, almost in the middle of the box, and it almost goes up to the middle of the box on the right-hand side. So this is a process where we have to really pay attention with our eyes and look as closely as we can and be as precise as we can. So this curved shape starts and goes almost all the way to the middle of that C box. So once I think I've got it right, I'm going to shade it in with my pencil and then move on to the next box. So 1D, that shape continues, and again it cuts that box almost in half. So once I know it's right, I'm going to shade it in. And then box 1E continues down, and it kind of cuts through the corner. So I need to shift my shape and go and cut through the corner of that E box and then shade it in. Now there's no more boxes of color in this row, so I'm going on to the next row. The first box of color in the next row is 2B, so I'll start with that box right there, 2B. Kind of starts right here towards the top and cuts almost into the middle. And there's a little tiny spot of white there, so I'm going to finish the shape with a little tiny spot of white and then shade it in once I know it's right. So these pictures are going to look kind of funny at the beginning, but towards the end, everything will start to come together. So the next box here, I'll copy the shape I see. Kind of comes up like this. So pay attention to the box that you're shading in, but also the boxes around the box you're shading in and how they interact with each other, how the shapes connect. So again, I'll just continue this until I finished all of my rows. Okay, so I'll finish this row and go all the way down, and that's how we practice grid drawing.